93.5, Tim letter E period D. If you're my friend, you already know that, along with my son Tristan. Hanging out here talking about theme parks, and we were just listening to Ellen's Energy Adventure, which is going away. Goodbye. And Matt from Attractions Magazine is ecstatic. All right, maybe I'm adding a few little things, but apparently he's happy, I guess, for that. So, and some of you are happy, and that's okay. You know, there's always change, and sometimes change is good, and sometimes change isn't good to other people, and well, that's all right. But, you know, it's still kind of sad to lose, I guess, what was the original concept back in 1982 with some of the things. But, you know, we move on. There's not really much we can do. Either embrace and enjoy it or go do something different. Well, hope you are enjoying your Sunday afternoon right here at 3 p.m. And we've got some other things to talk about. Hopefully getting to some injury report, as well as the experience of yard selling as you raise money to go to your theme park love and aficionado type things. We have on the line, we're going to go to him now, and that is Shawn Valentino. Shawn Valentino, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome, man. It's good to hear you. And you actually host a pro wrestling show, so we'd love for you to tell people a little bit about what it is that you do on the show.
Sure. I host a show called the Pro Wrestling Top 5. It's on YouTube, and I do it with my broadcast partner, Rich Twilling. And both of us have been wrestling journalists for a long time. I write for the Pro Wrestling Torch, and he used to be a former editor at ProWrestling.net. So we met through being wrestling journalists, and now we take a weekly top 5 on any random wrestling topic. We have like the top 5 WrestleMania, top 5 Money in the Bank cash-ins. Next week we have top 5 WWE superstars of all time. So we'll tackle a topic and we'll discuss it every week.
That's awesome. Well, since we talk about theme parks here, we know that back at Disney World when it was MGM Studios, yes, MGM, and Courtney even knows about MGM Studios. We can relate. I think she worked there for a brief time period. But so I always call it that too. But anyway, so they had the WCW tapings there. And then obviously it's still at Universal Studios in Orlando. They do the tapings for Impact Wrestling. So why do you think that wrestling is such a fit for theme parks down in Orlando?
I think it's really a perfect fit. I actually just came back from Orlando. Orlando just hosted WrestleMania. And I know they were rumored to have a WWE Hall of Fame at Universal Studios as well. So I think there's all these tourists there that it's like the theme of larger-than-life characters, pomp and circumstance, and I think that's what wrestling is really all about. It's about a showcase of larger-than-life characters in the grand setting.
Yes, definitely. I can agree. I miss when they would do the tapings. Plus, I think my theory is you're already going to be down there, you're having fun, you're on vacation, and so it's kind of a captive audience. Unfortunately, at least with Disney and so with Universal, they've gotten away from a lot of the live productions, and I guess it must be a tax type thing of why they moved everything back out of Orlando to back to Los Angeles and Canada and so on. But, you know, I miss when they would do that because that would give the parks an incentive for people to show up. And also it kind of put everybody else on the map a little bit more as well, too. And if I remember correctly, Impact under Dixie Carter went and did touring. And I think they kind of left Universal Studios for a little while. But now they're back. And I guess they taped several weeks in advance.
Yeah, and I think it was a really good deal for Impact. I think I always thought they should have stayed in Universal Studios because it's cheap programming. It's really expensive to tour, and I thought the set piece of the Impact Zone was really nice. So I think it really fits well in that Orlando setting. It cuts costs. And you also have WWE with its performance center over there. So Orlando is really a great place for wrestling fans.
Yes, you're exactly right. And one thing that, you know, we've been talking today on the program about things that were kind of nostalgic for a lot of people. And I was listening to a wrestling podcast one time. I'm not sure. I think it was in regards to Jerry Lawler and how they were fading him out of WWE and bringing in more of the younger announcers, but that they don't do that in baseball. You know, they keep the people that are there for 50 years until they pretty much retire. And I don't really know why everyone has to fade out things that are nostalgic. And that kind of ties in with the theme parks, but also with pro wrestling. And, you know, it's like kind of keep some of what brought people. And that's what I was thinking with Epcot, because, you know, you have a lot of the 80s stuff. I wish now would they have Innoventions there at Epcot that they would just go back and, you know, keep some of the older people happy. And we're changing from Innoventions to Communicore, and then everybody would be happy that way. But it kind of leads me to want to ask you, do you think, I know wrestling was really big in the 80s and then it kind of died down a little bit, then the Attitude Era picked back up again, and now I'm not really sure what transition we're in, but do you ever see it getting back to that again, any one of those eras?
I do see it getting back to that, but I think it's really all about building around that larger-than-life superstar. You look at the late 80s, which is when I started watching wrestling. You had Macho Man Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. Then in the late 90s, you had The Rock, and you had Stone Cold Steve Austin. But I think what we're missing right now is that larger-than-life star, and Vince McMahon always likes to build around that one big superstar. I mean, we just had the John Cena era the last 2 years, and Cena's great, but I think he alienated a large part of the audience, and I think we're seeing that again with Roman Reigns. But I think once you have that universally loved big superstar, I think wrestling can come back. And I personally would like to see Reigns turn heel, and I think he could be an excellent heel, and he could be a piece of the company, and I'd like to see how Vince McMahon handles that. And I think just through that, we're going to see a babyface star will rise and take him on. That might be the start of the next new boom period.
Awesome. Well, I absolutely agree with you. I think that all of those things should happen. Well, unfortunately, we are out of time. We've got to move on to other things, but I definitely enjoyed talking with you, Shawn Valentino, and would love to have you back on again sometime. And then again, real quickly, tell everybody again where they can check you out at. What's the best way to find you?
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate this. I had a lot of fun. I'm a big Disney World fan, and combining that with wrestling, that's really cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
You can find us at YouTube at youtube.com/The Pro Wrestling Top 5, numeral 5.